place is buried, see?
Rich person. Where?
And he was a queer sort of gentleman who built this place. Spent a wicked lot of money on it, he did. And then gets tired of it. Puts the whole thing up for sale.
Beats me what he always wanted to buy it. Living on an island.
Oh, come off it, there, girls. And take that stuff out into the kitchen. They'll be any minute now.
Making that steep climb an excuse for a drink, I suppose. Like some others I know.
That'd be young Jim. I'll be getting along now. There's 2 other guests are off my car, I understand.
I shall want at least 5 loaves in the morning and 8 pints of milk, remember?
Right.
And don't forget the oil for the engine, friend. I gotta charge up tomorrow. Have these lights running down.
It's not up on the railway. It's at the station now. I'll bring it across the first thing tomorrow.
Oh, and give a hand to the luggage, will you?
Right.
I forgot to give you this little next time.
Thanks, old girl. Doesn't look a very classy lot to me. Mrs. Blaisdell. She'll probably be the secretary.
I all got your secretaries. They're worse than hospital nurses. And then giving themselves airs and graces and looking down on the servant.
Oh, stop rousing, Ethel, and cut along to that low upstairs into the kitchen of yours.
Too many newfangled gadgets for my fancy.
So, this is it.
How perfectly lovely.
Miss Blaisdell.
You're Rogers?
Yes, good evening, Miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Will you get my luggage and Captain Lombard's?
Very good.
You've been here before?
No, but I've heard a lot about the place.
From Mr. and Mrs. Owen?
No, old Johnny Brewer, a pal of mine, built this house. It's a sad and poignant story.
Love story?
Yes, ma'am. The saddest of all. He was a wealthy old boy and fell in love with famous Lily Lowe. Married her. He bought the island and built this place for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Poor Johnny. He thought by cutting her off from the rest of the world, without even a telephone, his means of communication, he could hold her.
But of course, the fair Lily tired of her ivory tower and escaped.
Johnny went back to Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
And here we are. Well, I ought to go find Mrs. Owens. The others will be up in a
It
minute.
would be very rude to leave me here all by myself.
Would it? Oh, well, I wonder where she is.
She'll come along when she's ready. While we're waiting, do you think I could have something to drink? I'm awfully dry.
Of course you could.
It certainly is warm after that steep climb. And what's yours?
No thanks. Not for me. Not on duty.
A good secretary is never off duty.
Really. But this is exciting.
What?
All this. The smell of the sea, the gulls, the beach, and this lovely house. I am going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. You're very lovely.
Where is Mrs. Owen?
Mr. and Mrs. Owen won't be down from London until tomorrow, miss. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow?
I've got a history of yesterday's picture, if you'd like to have it.
Thank you.
The second road is just the right.
How awful. I say you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
I won't move from your side.
Thank you. It seems silly to have brought only us in the first boat and all the rest in the second.
That, I'm afraid, was design, not accident.
Design? Well, what do you mean?
I suggested to the boatman that there was no need to wait for any more passengers. That and 5 shillings soon started up the
You
engine.
shouldn't have done that.
Well, they're not very exciting, are they?
Well, I suppose you think a man in his 30s is more attractive.
I don't think, my daughter. I know.
I say, where's that place we got here? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid. It won't be down until tomorrow. Oh, too bad. May I introduce Captain Lombard, Miss Marston, and next, Mars.
Have a drink.
Oh,
What do you have?
whiskey, I think.
Wonderful pleasure to have you here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid.
Does it? What part?
Oh, naked, dirty, you know, really. Well, here's the temper. Do you know South Africa?
Me? No.
That's right. That's my native state.
Interesting country, I
Gold, silver, diamonds, oranges, everything a man wants.
Well, I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce you to Captain Lombard, Miss Marston, oh yes, and Mr.
Davis.
And whiskey and soda, sir?
Thank you.
You and the servant, formerly the King's African Rifles. Too tame for me at peacetime. I just.
Peter. Wait. Where is Mrs. Owen? Miss Brent, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. Won't you have something? Well, may I introduce you to Captain Lombard, General Mackenzie, Miss Marston. I think you all met on the boat. Oh, yes, and Mr.
Davis, may I take your case?
Do let me give you a drink. Tea, club soda, ginger ale.
I never touch alcohol.
You've never touched alcohol?
I suppose you know, young man, that you left us standing there on the wall.
Well, I'm afraid, Miss Brent, I was to blame for that. Well,
It seems to me most extraordinary. Mrs. Owen should not be here to receive the...
yes, well, perhaps she's the kind of person who just can't help missing her train.
I reckon she
Not at all. Mrs. Owen isn't the least like that.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room.
Of course, I'll take you there. You'll find Mrs. Rogers upstairs, miss. She will show you the room.
I'm afraid our host and hostess haven't arrived, sir. My name's Lombard. Mine's a Walgrave. How do you do? How do you do? Have a drink, sir? Yes, I'll have a glass of water, please.
How are you? Davis, name. I say, wonderful place you got here. Quite unique.
Yes. As you say, it is quite unique.
Your drink, sir.
Oh, Badger Berkeley wrote up yet?
Who did you say?
Badger Berkeley. He wrote to me in for this show. But when is he coming?
I don't think he is coming. Nobody with the name of Berkeley.
Why, the dirty old double crosser. He's let me down. Well, it's a pretty wizard island. I say, old man, this is a dressing consider this time.
Let's go and explore.
Oh, wizard.
Things have been at 6s and 7s with you. It's my turn.
Tricky what? I say, wizard place for a holiday.
Aren't you going to sit down?
Well, to tell you the truth, you seem to be in my chair.
And realized you're part of the family.
Well, it's not that exactly. I've never been here before, but you see, I live at the Painting Club, and for the last 10 years, my chair goes just about there.
I see.
Sitting anywhere else.
Well, I suppose it becomes a bit of a habit.
Certainly not.
Yes. Let me help you.
Well, not quite as good as the clubs, but it is a nice chair. Gee, since I got this invitation, I haven't had anything of the kind for, well, it was 4 years. Very nicer than I thought.
I have your key, sir.
Certainly. Is the Lady Constance Cullington expected here, can you tell me?
Lady Constance coming. I don't think so, unless it's coming down with Mr. Owen. Allow me, sir. Can I have your key,
sir.
No, thank you, I can unpack for myself. Yes.
Dinner is at 8 o'clock. Shall I show you what?
Please, thank you. Yes.
Can I take your drink, gentlemen?
Thank you.
Here you are, sir. I'll call Rogers.
There. How are you? Davis, name.
Mine's Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong, I believe.
Yes.
Thought so. Never forget
are you interested in the war?
Well, you see, I'm from South Africa. Naturally, legal processes in this country are bound to interest the Colombian.
Oh, yes, of course.
Had something to drink.
No, thank you. I never touch it.
Do you mind if I mind it?
Not a bit.
I've been having a look around the island. It's a wonderful place, isn't it?
Wonderful. I thought as I was crossing the mainland, what a haven of peace this was.
Too peaceful for some, I dare say.
Wonderfully restful. Wonderful for the nerves. I'm a nerve specialist, you know.
Yes, I know that. Did you come down by train?
No, I motored down. Dropped in on one of my patients on the way. Great improvement, wonderful response.
Best part of 200 miles, isn't it? How long did it take you?
I didn't hurry. I never hurry. It was bad for the nerves. Some mannerless young female nearly drove me into the ditch near Ansbury. Shot past me at about 80 miles an hour, I should say. Disgraceful bit of driving. I wish I had her number.
Yes, and if only more people would take the numbers of these young road cars.
Now, you must excuse me. I must have a word with Mr. Owen.
Oh, but Mr. Owen isn't coming down.
You rang, sir.
Yes, take my hat, will you? Well, what time's supper?
Dinner is at 8 o'clock, in a quarter of an hour. I think tonight dressing will be out.
Got a good place here.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Been here long.
Just under a week, sir.
Is that all? So I don't suppose you know much about this crowd here?
No, sir.
All old friends of the family.
I really couldn't say, sir.
Oh, well. Oh, Rogers. Rogers, do you think you could leave some sandwiches in my room at night? I get an awful appetite with this sea air.
I'll see what I can do, sir.
Rogers, I'll see you won't lose by it. Where's my room?
I'll show you, sir.
Good. I can do with the wash and brush up straight away.
Oh, so there you are, Rogers. You want to clear away these coats. You always thinking of dirty work to me. Here I am, with 4 course dinner on my hands and no one to help me. You might give me an addition up. Who was it you were talking to, by the way?
Davis, South African. No class, if you ask me, and no money either.
I don't like them. Don't like any of them much. More like I wish we had a boarding house, I'd say.
Davis, because I was a millionaire or something, but you should see his underwear. Cheap as they make it.
It's not trick, not trust. All these guests arriving today and no rains till the morning. What do they think we are?
Anyway, the money's good.
So we ought to be. Catch me going into service again unless the money was good.
Well, it is good, so what are you going on about?
Well, I can tell you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place wine puts upon. Cooking's my business. I'm a good cook.
First rate over there.
But the kitchen's my place and housework's none of my business. All these guests. I'd be mine to put my hat and coat on and walk out now and go straight back to Plymouth.
You can't be that old girl.
Who says I can't? Why not, I should like to know?
Because you're on an island. Have you forgotten that?
Oh, yes. And I don't know if I fancy being on an island.
Don't know that I do either, Coach Jack. No slipping down to the pub or going to the pictures. Oh well, it's double ways on the counter and there's plenty of food in the house.
That's all you have to think about. Food.
Now, stop your nagging and get back to that kitchen or your dinner will be spoiled.
It'll be spoiled anyway, I expect. Everybody's going to play. Wasted on him anyway. Thank goodness I didn't play. Oh, can you hold me just a minute? Just a question of just now.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Yes, thank you. The missus talks a lot, but she gets it done.
What a lovely evening.
Yes, indeed.
How
What about the old boy?
Rather looks like a tortoise, don't you think so?
All judges look like tortoises. They have that venomous way of darting their heads in and out. Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
I hadn't realized he was a judge.
Oh, yes. He's probably been responsible for sending more innocent people to their death than anyone in England. Oh, hello. Do you two know each other, Miss Claythorne? Dr. Armstrong. Armstrong and I.
Yes, I heard you. And so did he, I think.
Sir Lawrence.
Miss Brent, isn't it?
Yes, there's something I want to ask. Will you come up here?
Certainly. A remarkably fine night.
Absolutely wizard car. A supercharged sports melodic highlight. And you don't see many of them on the road. I can get over 100 out of her.
Did you come from London?
Yes, 208 miles. And I did it in a bit over 4 hours. Too many cars on the road though to keep it up. Touched 90 going over Salisbury Plain. Not too bad, eh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Oh, yes.
You nearly drove me into the ditch.
Did I? Sorry.
I had your number. I reported you.
Oh, but you were footling along the middle of the road.
Footling? Me? Footling?
Oh, well, what's about to drink?
Oh, good idea.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Why, Mrs. Owen?
You'd make the most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
Do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Oh, well, now we know.
Tell me, what's so Miss Brent talking to the judge about? She's trying to buttonhole him upstairs.
I don't know. Funny, she seemed so definite that there was not a Mr. Owen.
You don't think it's Mrs. Owen? I mean, that there isn't. That they aren't.
What?
Married, you mean? It's a shame we didn't know each other. You could have been with me.
Oh, yes, that would have been grand.
Like to show what I can do over Salisbury Plain. Tell you what, maybe we can ride back together.
But
Yes, she likes the way she's going back. So she was.
Look! Aren't they sweet? There's 10 little China Indians. Wait, there's the old nursery
What
rhyme.
are you talking about? What pictures? What nursery rhyme?
Well, 10 little Indian boys going out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. When 9 little Indian boys sat up very late, one overslept himself, and then there were 8.
8 little Indian boys traveling in Devon. One got left behind, and it was
Ladies and gentlemen, silence, please. You are charged with these indictments, that you did respectively and at divers times commit the following. Edward Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleves. William Henry Blore, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Lender. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Annette Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Grady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
She'll be all right. She's just ready, that's all. Get some brandy.
Rogers, get some brandy.
Who is that speaking? Well, it sounded...
What's going on here? What kind of a practical joke was that?
Where did that voice come from? Ah, here we are.
You are charged with these indictments.
Turn it off, it's hard.
A disgraceful and heartless practical joke.
So, you think it's a joke, do you?
What could it be?
At the moment, I am not prepared to give an opinion.
Who turned on the set it
We must inquire into that.
Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me.
Allow me, madam, allow me to say advisedly to her. Ethel, everything here. Pull yourself together.
You'll be all right, Mrs. Rogers. Just a nasty turn.
Did I faint, sir?
Yes.
Oh, it was the voice. That awful voice. Like a judgment.
Where's that brandy? Oh. Thank you.
Yes.
Here you are, Mrs. Rogers. Drink this. Yes.
I'll be all right now. It just, it gave me a turn.
Of course it did. It gave me a turn too. Was it lies it was? I'd like to know.
Who was it that put that record on the gramophone? Was it you, Rogers?
I was just obeying orders, sir, that's all.
Whose orders?
Mr. Owen.
Let me get this quite clear. Mr. Owen's orders were what exactly?
I was to put the record on the gramophone in the study. I'd find the records in a drawer there. I thought it was just to give you all some
A
music.
very remarkable story.
It's true. I didn't know what it was that very moment. It had a name on it. I thought it was just a piece of music.
Is there a title? A title? Yes, sir. It's entitled Swan Song.
Preposterous, absolutely preposterous. Stinging accusations about that. Something must be done about it. This fellow Owen, whoever he is,
He's just it. Who is he?
That is what we must get into very carefully. Now then, Rogers, I should suggest that you get your wife to bed, then come back here.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you a hand.
will she be all right, Doctor?
Yes, she'll be fine.
I don't know about you, sir, but I know I need a drink.
I agree. Thank you.
Preposterous, absolutely preposterous.
Whiskey for you, Sir Lion?
Oh, I have water, please.
I should like a glass of water also.
I'll have a little water, too.
She'll be fine now. Now that I've given her a sedative.
Now then, Doctor, you'll want to drink after all this.
No, thank you. I never touch it.
Oh, so you say. You have one, General?
Ah, now then, Rogers, we must get to the bottom of this. Tell us what you know of this man, Owen.
He owns the place, sir.
Thank you, Rogers. I was aware of that. What I want you to tell me is what you yourself know of the man.
I can't say, sir. You see, I've never seen him.
What do you mean you've never seen him?
We've only been there just under a week, my wife and I. We were engaged by a letter to the registry office. The Regina is living.
That's a high-class firm. We can check on
Have
that.
you got that letter?
The letter engaged us? Yes.
Go on with your story.
We arrived here, like the letter said, on the 4th. Everything was in shape, plenty of food and stock, and everything was very nice. Just needed dusting, and that.
What next?
Nothing, sir. That is, we got orders to prepare the room for a house party. 8. Then yesterday, by the Morning Post, I received another letter saying that Mr. and Mrs. Oil might be detained, and if so, we were to do the best we could. And it gave instructions about dinner and putting on the gramophone. Here it is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Headed Ritz Hotel and typewritten.
Let me see that. Coronation machine, number 5. Quiet snap, no defects. Instant paper. Most common make. We shan't get much out of this. We might try the fingerprints. But it's been handled too much.
Quite a little detective.
Got some fancy Christian names, haven't you? You
information. I think it would be well for everybody to come forward with any information they have regarding our unknown host. We are all his guests. I think it would be profitable if each one of us were to explain exactly how that came about.
There's something very peculiar about all this. I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It purported to be from a woman whom I had met at a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. I took the name to be Ogden. I am quite certain that I have never met or become familiar with anyone of the name Owen.
Have you got that letter, Miss Brent?
Yes, I will fetch it for you.
Thank you. Miss Claythorne.
Well, I never actually met Mrs. Owen. You see, I wanted a holiday post, so I applied to a secretarial agency, Miss Grenville's in London. I was offered this post and accepted.
But you were never interviewed by our prospective employer?
Oh no, this is the letter.
Thank you. Indian Island, Sticklehaven, Devon. Perhaps you should have a seat. Thank you. I have received your name from Miss Grenville's agency. I understand she knows you personally. I shall be very glad to pay you the salary you ask and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. The train is the 12:10 from Paddington and you will be met at Oakbridge Station. I enclose £5 for expenses. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Miss Marston.
Don't actually know the Owens. Got a wire from a pal of mine, back in Berkeley. Told me to roll up here. Surprised me a bit because I really he'd gone to Norway. I don't have the wire.
I see. And you, Dr. Armstrong?
Under the circumstances, I think that I may admit that my visit here was strictly professional. Mr. Owen wrote to me several weeks ago. He was worried about his wife's health, her nerves to be exact. He wanted to report on her without her being alone. He therefore suggested that my visit here be regarded as an ordinary guest.
You had no previous acquaintance with the family?
None at all.
But you had no hesitation in obeying the summons.
A colleague of mine was mentioned, and a very handsomely suggested. I was due for a holiday anyway.
I see. Oh, thank you, Miss Brent. Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago. Thank you, Doctor. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago, and we seem to have so much in common. I am starting my own guest house on an island off the coast of Devon. I think that there is an opening for a place where there is good plain English cooking and a nice old-fashioned type of cussing. None of this nudity and gramophones half the night. Yes, there it is. I should be very glad if you could see a way of spending your summer holiday on Indian Island. As my guest, of course, I suggest August 8th, the 12:40 from Paddington to Oakbridge. Yours truly, U.N. Yes, the signature is slightly ambiguous. I like the signature. Here is my own decoy letter from an old friend of mine, a lady Constance Cullington. She writes in her usual vague, incoherent way, urges me to join her here, and refers to her host and hostess in case of terms. Look here, I was not in a minute, but we will take one thing at a time, if you don't mind, Captain Lombard. Thank you.
What a letter. This fellow Owen. Thought I must have met him some kind of club. Engines smoke colder than my work to be here. Haven't kept the letter, I'm afraid.
Thank you. And you, Captain Lombard?
Same sort of thing. Invitation mentioning mutual friends. I haven't kept the letter either.
I see. Just now, we had a somewhat disturbing experience. An apparently disembodied voice spoke to us all by name, uttering certain definite accusations against us. We will deal with those accusations presently. At the moment, I'm interested in a minor point. Amongst the names received was that of William Henry Law, but as far as we know, there is no one named Law among us. The name of Davis was not mentioned. What have you to say?
Something unanswered. However, what I have to say is no truth whatsoever what you said about Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on reconnaissance in 1917. He was killed. Also, as to say, resent very much. Slur on my wife. She's been dead a long time. Best woman in the world, absolutely Caesar's wife.
I've just been thinking, John and Lucy Cummings. Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me, of course. But I guess it was bad luck for them too. It was pure accident. They rushed out of the cottage. I had my license suspended for a year. Beastly nuisance.
This meeting's all wrong, I tell you.
Well, I couldn't help it. Just an accident. Mind I say a word, sir?
Go ahead, Bob.
There was a meeting, sir, of me and Mr. Rush and Mr. Jennifer Brady. There isn't a word of truth. We were with Miss Brady the night she died. She was always a terrible help, even from the time we came to her. There was a storm before the night she died. Telephones were out of order, and we couldn't get the doctor to her. I went for him on foot, but he got there too late. We had done everything possible for her, devoted to her we were. Anyone who came to say, there was never a word spoken in this, never a word.
Came into a nice little something at your death, I suppose, didn't you?
Miss Brady left us a legacy and recognition for our faithful service. And why not, I'd like to know?
What about yourself, Mr. Floyd?
What about?
Your name is on the list.
I know. Lantern, you mean? That was the London and Commercial Bank robbery.
I remember the name, though it didn't come before me. Lander was convicted on your evidence, Mr. Law. You were the police officer in charge of the case.
I was.
Lander got penal servitude for life, but died in Darfur a year later. He was a dead man.
He was a crook. It was him that put the night watchman out. The case was clear from the start.
You were complimented, I think, on your able handling of the case.
I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty.
Convenient word, duty. What about you, though?
I'm at a loss to understand the matter myself. The name meant nothing to me. What was it? Close? Police? I don't ever remember having a patient with that name, or it being related to a death in any way. Unless, of course, it was one of my operating cases in the hospital. Many times the patients would come too late, and then when they died, it was always the surgeon's fault.
And then it's better to take up nerve case and give up surgery. Some, of course, give up drink.
I protest! You've no right to insinuate such things. I never touch alcohol.
My dear fellow, I never suggested you did. Anyway, Mr. Unknown is the only one who knows all the facts. Miss Claiborne.
Well, I was nursery governor with Peter Hamilton. We were in Cornwall for the summer, where there was a rock far out where Peter always wanted to swim to. Of course, I wouldn't let him. It was dangerous. One day, my attention was distracted, and when I came back down, he was swimming out to the rock. Well, I
perfectly true. I left those natives alone in the bush. Matter of self-preservation.
You abandoned your men.
Not quite the act of Kukumaki, I'm afraid. But after all, self-preservation is a man's first duty. And natives don't mind dying with them. They don't feel about it the way Europeans do. Our inquiry rests there. Now then, Rogers, who else is there on this island besides ourselves, you and your wife?
Nobody, sir. Nobody at all.
You're sure of that?
Quite sure.
Thank you. Don't go, Rogers. I am not yet clear as to the purpose of our unknown host in getting us to assemble here, but in my opinion, he's not sane in the accepted sense of the word. He may be dangerous. In my opinion, it would be well for us to leave this place as soon as possible. I suggest that we leave tonight.
You'll pardon me, sir, but there's no boat on the island.
No boat at all?
No, sir.
Why don't you telephone to the mainland?
There's no telephone island. Frank Narracott comes every morning. He delivers the milk and the bread, and the post and the papers, and takes the orders, sir.
A bit unsporting, what? To ferret out the whole mystery before we go. Whole thing's like a detective story. Positively brilliant.
My dear young lady, at my time of life, I have no desire for thrills.
Oh, the legal life's narrow. I'm all crime. Here's to it.
Someone help.
She's dead!
Dead. Do you mean she just choked and died?
You can call me choking if you like. I got asphyxiation right now.
Never knew one could die like that. Just of a choking fit.
In the middle of life, we are in death.
A man does not die from her choking General Mackenzie. Marston's death isn't what we call a natural death.
Was there something in the whiskey?
Yes. By the smell of it, probably cyanide. Potassium cyanide. Acts pretty well instantaneously.
Then she must have put the stuff in the glass herself. Suicide, eh? That's the wrong go.
You never think she commits suicide. She was still alive. She was enjoying herself.
Look, here's one of the little Indians off the mountains. Broken.
We've been up to the top. No sign of that boat yet.
It's very early still.
Oh, I know. Still, the fellow brings the milk and the bread and all that. And I should have thought he got here before this. No sign of any breakfast yet. But where's that fellow Rob?
Oh, let's not bother about breakfast.
How's the weather looking?
The wind has freshened. Rather a mackerel spot. An old boy in the train yesterday said we were due for dirty weather. Shouldn't wonder if he wasn't right.
I wish that boat was home. The sooner we get off this island, the better. Absurd not keeping a boat on the island.
No proper hearting. If a wind comes to blow from the southeast, the boat would get dashed to pieces against the rocks.
But a boat would always be able to make us from the mainland.
No, Miss Prince, that's just what it wouldn't.
Do you mean we should be cut off from the land?
Yes, condensed milk, ribota, and tin stuff till the gale can blow itself out. But you needn't worry. The sea's only a bit choppy.
I think the pleasures of living on an island are rather overrated.
I wonder if that boat's ever going to get here. Annoying the way the house is built slap up against the cliff. You can't see the mainland climbed all the way up to the top. Shall we go again?
It's no good, Doctor. A watched pot never noticed. There wasn't a sign of a boat putting out when we were up there just now.
What can that man there top be doing?
They're all like that in Devon. Never hurry themselves.
And where's Rogers? He ought to be about.
If you ask me, Master Rogers was pretty badly rattled last night.
Yes. Ghastly, the whole thing.
He got the wind up properly.
Fantastic. The whole thing fantastic.
I say, suppose he's hopped it.
Rogers? But he couldn't have. There's no boat on the island. You just said so yourself.
Yes, but I've been thinking. We've only Rogers' worth that. Suppose there is one and he's nipped off in it the first thing.
Oh, no. He wouldn't have been allowed to leave the island.
Sleep well, General?
Yes. I dream of
I don't wonder at that.
I dream of Leslie. My wife, no.
Yes. I wish Narracott were on.
Who's this Narracott?
The bloke who brought us over yesterday afternoon.
Was it only yesterday?
Yes, I feel like that too. Batty gramophone records, suicide. It's about all a man can stand. I shan't be sorry to see the back of Indian Island, I give you my word.
So you don't understand? Afraid.
What's that, General?
I don't like the look of it.
I reckon young Marston's suicide must have been a pretty bad shock to him.
Where is that young woman now?
In the study. Look at them myself.
Dr. Armstrong, I suppose it was suicide.
What else could it be?
Well, I don't know. But suicide?
You know, I've been thinking. This Mr. Unknown, suppose he's on the island. Rogers may have known. Or may have told him to say so. Pretty nasty thought, isn't it?
But could someone have tampered with Marston's drink without our seeing?
Well, it was standing up there. Anyone could have dropped a dollop of cyanide in it if they'd wanted to.
No, that's just
Oh,
no.
there you are, sir. I've been all over the place looking for you. Could you come up and have a look at my wife?
Oh, yes, of course. Is she feeling under the weather still?
She's...
You won't leave the island without me.
I wish that boat would come. I hate this place.
Yes. I think the sooner we get in touch with the police, the better.
The police.
Or the police have to be notified in the case of the suicide, you know, Miss Claythorne.
Oh, yes, of course.
What's going on here? No sign of any breakfast.
Are you hungry, General? Feeling like breakfast? Listen, my wife. I know, I'm hungry. Of course not. Forgive me. I couldn't for my wife. I was waiting for her, you see. But I thought your wife was dead long ago. I thought so too. But I was wrong. She's here on this island.
Good morning.
Good morning, Captain Lombard.
Good morning. Seems the boat was left myself. Boat here yet?
No.
Bit late, isn't it?
Yes.
Good morning. You and I could have had a swim before breakfast. Too bad all this.
Too bad you overslept yourself.
You must have good nerves to sleep like that.
Nothing makes me lose my sleep.
Didn't dream of African natives by any chance, did you?
No. Did you dream of convicts on Dartmoor?
Now look here, Captain Lombard. I don't think that's very funny.
Well, you started it, you know. I'm hungry. What about breakfast?
The whole domestic staff seems to have gone on strike.
Oh, well, we can forage for ourselves.
Well, that's strange.
What is?
Well, you remember we found this little fellow smashed last night?
Yes. That ought to leave nine.
That ought to leave 9. I'm certain there were 2 of them here when we arrived.
Well,
There are only 8.
so there are.
I think it's queer, don't you?
Probably only 9 to begin with. We assumed there were 2 because of the rhyme. Oh, hello, Dr. Armstrong. What's the matter?
Mrs. Rogers is dead.
No. How?
Died in her sleep. Rogers thought she was still under the influence of the sleeping draught I'd given her last night. Came down without disturbing her. She lit the fire, did this room, and then when she hadn't come down, He went off and was alarmed by the look on her. He immediately went looking for me. She's been dead about 5 hours.
What was it? Heart?
Impossible to say. It might have been.
She might have been poisoned, I suppose, Doctor?
It is perfectly possible.
With the same stuff as young
No,
Marston?
not cyanide. It would have had to been a narcotic or hypnotic, one of the barbiturates or chloro, something like that.
You gave her some sleeping powders last night, didn't you?
Yes, I gave her a mild dose of luminol.
Didn't give her too much, did you?
Certainly not. Would you?
All right, no offense. I just thought that if perhaps she had a
The
weak
amount
heart.
I gave her could have hurt no one.
Then what exactly did happen?
Impossible to say without an autopsy.
If, for instance, this death had occurred in the case of one of your private patients, what would have been the procedure?
Without any previous knowledge of the woman's state of health, I could certainly not give a certificate.
She was a very nervous-looking creature. She had a bad fright last night. Perhaps it was heart failure.
Her heart certainly failed to beat. The question is, what caused it to fail?
Conscience.
What exactly do you mean by that, Miss French?
You all heard. She was accused, together with her husband, of having deliberately murdered her former employer, an old lady.
And you believe that's true, Miss Brent?
Certainly. You all saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having her wickedness brought home to her was too much for her. She literally died of fear.
It is a perfectly possible theory, but one cannot adopt it without a more exact knowledge of the woman's previous state of health. If she had a latent cardiac weakness,
Call it, if you prefer, an act of God.
Oh, no, Miss Brent.
You regard it as impossible that the sinner should be struck down by the wrath of God. I do not.
My dear lady, in all my experience with ill-doing, Providence leaves the work of conviction and chastisement to us mortals, and the process is often fraught with difficulty. There are no shortcuts.
Let's be practical. What did the woman have to eat and drink last night after she went to bed?
nothing.
Nothing at all. Not a cup of tea or a glass of water. Now, I'll bet you she had a cup of tea. That sort always does.
Rogers assures me nothing.
He might say so.
So that's your idea?
Well, why not? You all heard that accusation last night. What if it's true? Miss Brent thinks it is for one. Rogers and his missus did the old lady. They're feeling quite safe and happy about it.
Happy?
Well, they know there's no immediate danger to them. Then last night, some lunatic goes and spills the beans. What happens? It's the woman cracks. It goes to pieces. Did you see him hanging round her when she was coming to? Not all husbandly solicitude. Not in her sweet life. He was like a cat on hot bricks. And that's the position. They've done a murder and got away with it. But if it's all going to be ramped up again now, it's the woman who'll give the show away. She hadn't got the nerve to brazen it out. She's a living danger to her husband, that's what she is, and him. He's all right. He'll go on lying till the cows come home, but he can't be sure of her. So, what does he do? He drops a nice little dollop of something into a nice cup of tea, and when she's had it, washes up the cup and saucer, and tells the doctor she ain't had it. No.
Oh, no. That's impossible. A man would not do that. Unless he was blind.
You'd be surprised, Miss Clayborne, what some husbands would do.
Excuse me, I'm getting on with breakfast. I'm not much of a hand as a cook, I'm afraid. It's much worrying. Would cold tongue and Belgian be satisfactory? Then I could manage some fried potatoes, and then there's tin and cheese and this whole.
That would be fine, Rob.
Lunch? Lunch? We shan't be here for lunch. And when's that boat coming?
You will pardon me, sir, but the boat won't be coming.
What?
Friend Nercott is always here before 8. Is there anything else you require?
No, thank you, Rogers.
And it's not, Roger, his wife lying dead upstairs, and there he's cooking breakfast and calmly talking about lunch. Now he says the boat won't be coming. How does he know?
Don't you see? He's dazed. He's carrying on automatically as a good servant would. It's pathetic, really.
He's pulling a fast one, if you ask me.
The really significant thing is the failure of the boat to arrive. It means that we are being deliberately cut off from help.
That's very little time. Very little time.
What's that, General?
That's very little time. We mustn't waste it talking about things that don't even matter.
Why do you think Narracott hasn't turned up?
I think the ubiquitous Mr. Owen has given orders.
You mean you told him it's a practical joke or something of that kind?
Exactly.
He's never fallen for that, would he?
Why not? Indian Island has got a reputation for having crazy parties. And this is just one more crazy idea, that's all. Narracott knows there's plenty of food and drink on the island, and probably thinks it's all a huge joke.
Could we light the bonfire on top of the island so that they'd see us?
That's probably been providing things. All signals are to be ignored. We're cut off all right.
But can't we do something?
Oh yes, we can do something. We can find the funny gentleman who staged this little joke, Mr. Unknown Owen. I'll bet anything you like. He's here on this island. And the sooner we get to him, the better. Because in my opinion, he's mad as a hat and dangerous as a rattlesnake.
Hardly a very good simile, I think, Captain Lombard. At least the rattlesnake gives warning of its approach.
Warning. Yes, that's our warning. 10 Lithuanian boys. There were 10 of us after Narracott left, weren't there? 10 Lithuanian boys going out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. Marcia choked herself, didn't she? And then 9 Lithuanian boys sat up very late. One overslept himself. That fits Mrs. Rogers rather well, doesn't it?
You don't think? Do you mean he wants to kill us all?
Yes, I think he does.
And each one fits with a rhyme.
No, it's impossible. It's coincidence. It must be coincidence.
Only 8 Lithuanian boys here. I suppose that's coincidence too. What do you think, Floyd?
I don't like it.
But there's no one on the island.
I'm not so sure of that.
This is terrible.
None of us will ever leave this island.
Can't somebody shut up your ass?
Don't you agree with me, Sir Lawrence? I'm to a point. Yes, and the sooner we get to work, the better. Come on, Armstrong. Let's go, Floyd. We'll make short work of it.
I'm ready. Nobody's got a revolver by any chance. I suppose that's too much to hope for.
I've got one.
Always carry that about with you?
Usually. And I've been in some pretty tight places.
Oh, well, you've probably never been in a tighter place than you are today. If there's a homicidal maniac hiding on this island, he's probably got the whole arsenal on him, and he'll use it.
You may be wrong there, boy. Many homicidal maniacs are very quiet, unassuming people.
Delightful fellows, I'm sure.
You never know there was a thing wrong with him.
If Mr. Owen turns out to be one of that kind, we'll leave him to you, Doctor. Now then, let's make a start. I suggest Captain Lombard searches the house while we do the island.
Right. House ought to be easy enough. No sliding panels or secret doors.
Mind he doesn't get you before you get him.
Don't worry. But you two had better stick together. Remember, one got left behind.
Come on, Armstrong.
A very energetic young man, Captain Lombard.
Well, don't you think he's right? If someone is hiding on the island, they'll be bound to find him. Well, it's practically bare rock.
I think this problem needs brains to solve it rather than brawn.
Well, where are you going?
Oh, I'm going outside to sit in the sun and to think, my dear young lady.
Where did I put that other skein of wool? Or did you leave it upstairs? Shall I go and see if I can find
No,
it?
I know where it's likely to be.
I'm sure glad Captain Lombard has a revolver.
They're all wasting time. Wasting time.
Do you think so?
Yes. It's much better to sit here quietly and wait.
Well, wait for what? For the end, of course. I wish I could find Leslie. For what? Yes. I wish you'd known her. She was so lovely, so gay. Was she? Yes. I loved her very much. She was much younger than I was, of course. She was only 27. Arthur Richmond was 26. He was my ABC. Leslie liked him. They used to talk together, music and played. She would tease him and make fun of him. I was pleased. I thought she took a motherly interest in the boy. Fool, wasn't I? No fool like an old fool. Exactly like a book the way I found out when I was in France. She wrote to both of us. Put the letters in the wrong envelope, so I knew. Oh, no. It's all right, my dear. It was a long time ago. But you see, I loved her very much. I believed in her. I never told him I found out. I let it gather inside, right here. Slow, murderous rage. Young hypocrite, I liked the boy, trusted him. I wonder what the other things were. Sent him to his death. It was quite easy. Mistakes were being made all the time. All anyone could say was I lost my nerve, made a blunder, sacrificed one of my best men. Yes, it was quite easy. Leslie never knew. I never told her I found out. We went on as usual. But somehow, nothing was ever quite the same anymore. She died of pneumonia. She had a heart-shaped face, gray eyes, brown hair, curly. Oh, don't! Yes. I suppose in a way it was murder. Furious murder. And I've always been such a law-abiding man. But it didn't seem like that at the time, though. Something like that's what I thought. But after, well, you know, don't you? What do you mean? You don't seem to understand. I thought you would. I thought you'd be glad too that the end was coming. We're all going to die, you know. I don't know. You're still young. You haven't got to that yet. The relief, the blessed relief when you know you've done with it all. When you know you haven't got to carry the burden any longer. General, don't talk to me that way. You don't understand. I want to sit out here and wait. Wait for Leslie to come for me. Oh, I'm so frightened. I'm so frightened.
All correct. No secret passages. Wonderful.
Go, don't!
I say, you do look low. And how about something to drink to steady your nerves?
Have something to drink? Two corpses lying in the house at 9 o'clock in the morning. Have something to drink? An old man going quiet crackers. Oh, that's all right. Have something to drink. 10 people accused of murder. Oh, that's fine as long as you have something to drink.
All right, all right. Stay there.
Oh, you're nothing but a waster. An adventurer. You make me tired.
I say, you are though. And what's the matter, my
But
sweet?
I am not your sweet.
I'm sorry. I rather thought you were.
Well, you can think again.
You know you don't really feel that way. We've got something in common here now. Roads and murders can't fall out.
Rose and murderers?
Okay. So you don't like the company of roads and murders, and you want to have something to drink. I'll go and finish searching.
Unpleasant young man. I can't find it anywhere. Is something the matter?
I'm worried about the doctor. The general, he really is ill, I think.
sin has found him out.
Oh, don't!
One must face facts.
Can any of us afford to throw stones?
Even if his wife was no better than she should be, and she must be a depraved woman, he had no right to take judgment into his own hands.
Well, what about Beatrice Taylor?
Who?
That was her name, wasn't it?
You are referring to that absurd accusation about myself.
Yes.
Now that we are alone, I have no objection to telling you the facts of the case. Indeed, I should like you to hear them. That girl, Beatrice Taylor, was in my service. I was very much deceived in her. She had nice manners and was clean and willing. I was very pleased with her, of course. All that was sheets to get pops. She was a loose girl, no morals at all. Disgusting. It was some time before I found that she was what they call in trouble. It came as a great shock to me. Her parents were decent folk too, who had brought her up strictly. I am glad to say they didn't condone her behavior.
Well, what happened?
Naturally, I refused to keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say I condoned immorality.
Did she drown herself?
Yes,
How old was she?
17.
Only 17.
Quite old enough to know how to behave. I told her what a low, depraved thing she was. I told her that she was beyond the pale and that no decent person would ever take her into their house. I told her that her child would be the child of sin and would be branded all its life, and that the man would naturally not dream of marrying her. I told her that I felt soiled by ever having had her under my roof.
You told a girl of 17 all of that?
Yes, I am glad to say I broke her down utterly.
Oh, little devil.
I've no patience with this indulgence towards sin.
And then I suppose you turned her out of the house?
Of course.
And she didn't dare go home. What did you feel like when you found she drowned herself?
Feel like
Well, yes. Didn't you blame yourself?
certainly not. I had nothing with which to reproach myself.
I believe you really feel like that. Well, that's what makes it even more horrible. Oh.
That girl's unbalanced. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. The net that they hid is their own foot taking. The Lord is known by the judgment he executes. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand. Breakfast is ready. The wicked shall be turned into hell. Be quiet.
You know where the gentlemen are, miss. Breakfast is ready.
Sir Lawrence Wargrave is sitting out there in the sun. Dr. Armstrong and Mr. Bloor are still searching the island. Well, I wouldn't bother about them.
Shall not the isles shake at the sound of the fall, when the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of things?
Shall we go in?
I don't feel like eating.
Breakfast is ready.
Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, and lay away their robes, and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling, and shall sit upon the ground, and tremble at every moment, and be astonished at thee.
Reading aloud, Miss Brent.
It is my custom to read a portion of the Bible every day.
Very good habit, I'm sure.
What luck did you have?
There's no cover on the island, no caves, no one can hide anywhere.
That's right. What about the house, Lombard?
There's no one. I'll stake my life on it. There's no one in the house but ourselves. I've been open from attic to cellar.
Breakfast is getting cold.
Breakfast! Come on, Lord. You've been yelping for breakfast ever since you got up. Let's eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow, we die. Or who knows? Perhaps even today.
You
Oh no.
One got left behind.
There's a knife. In Mackenzie's back.
He's dead!
But he can't be. Who could have done it? There's only us on the island.
Exactly, my dear sir. Don't you realize that this clever and cunning criminal is always comfortably one stage ahead of us? That he knows exactly what we are going to do next and makes his plans accordingly? There is only one place, you know, where a successful murderer can hide on this island and have a reasonably good chance of getting away with it.
One place. Where?
Here, in this room. Mr. Owen is one of us.
Sir Lawrence?
Well, Mr. Law,
You were right in what you said, Mr. Lawrence. This murderer is one of us. And I think I know which one.
really?
Ever hear of the Lizzie Borden case in America? Old couple killed with an axe in the middle of the morning. Only person who could have done it was the daughter, a respectable middle-aged spinster. Incredible. So incredible that they acquitted her. But they never found any other explanation.
Really? Then your answer to this problem is Miss Emily Gray?
And I tell you, that woman is as mad as a hatter. Mad, I tell you. She's the one. And we must watch her.
I had formed the conclusion that your suspicions lay in a different quarter.
Yes, but I've changed my mind, and I'll tell you why. She's not scared, and she's the only one who isn't. Why? Because she knows quite well she's in no danger.
We've made some coffee. Brr, it's cold.
You'd hardly believe it when you think what a beautiful day it was this morning.
Are Captain Lombard and Roger still out?
Yes. No boats will be put out in this, and it couldn't land anywhere.
Mr. Prince,
Oh, allow me.
I'm glad you insist on our going to lunch and drinking some brandy. Well, I feel better.
Oh, well, the court always adjourns for lunch.
More often saying, it's a nightmare. It seems as though it can be true. But what are we going to do about it?
Well, I feel that we need to hold an informal court of inquiry. Maybe then we can eliminate a few innocent people.
You haven't got a hunch of any kind, have you, Miss Clayton?
If Miss Claythorne suspects one of us three, then that is rather an awkward question.
Oh no, I'm sure it isn't any of you. If you ask me what I suspected, well, I'd say Dr. Armstrong.
Armstrong?
Well, yes, because don't you see, he's had far and away the best chance to kill Mrs. Rogers. Terribly easy for him, as a doctor, to give her an overdose of sleeping stuff.
That's true. But someone else gave her brandy, remember?
Her husband had a good opportunity for administering a drug.
It isn't Roger. He wouldn't have the brains to fix all this stunt, nor the money. Besides, you can see he's scared stiff.
My word, it's something like a storm.
Oh, it's only you. Who did you think it was? Beatrice Taylor?
Is that coffee?
Good, I'm taking the coffee now, you see.
Such restraint in the face of danger is nothing short of heroic.
I do not, of course, profess to be a weather prophet, but I should say that a boat, even if it knew of our flight, could not reach us under 24 hours. Even if the wind were to die down, the sea would also have to die down.
You're awfully quick.
Is anyone a swimmer? Would it be possible to swim to the
But
mainland?
it's over, Mama. And in this sea, you'd be dashed on the rocks and drowned. Drowned? Drowned. In the pond.
I beg your pardon, Miss Brent.
After dinner nap.
It's terribly cold in here. I could light a fire if you like this. Well, that would be a good idea, Roger.
Very sound scheme. Anybody seen a scarlet oil silk curtain? No good, I'm afraid, Rogers.
It doesn't matter. All I thought is it was I.
Everything on this island is ours.
I'll get some sticks, and if you're not too cold, we'll get a nice fire going.
Well, he might like some hot coffee. He's awfully wet.
What's become of Armstrong?
He went up to his room to rest.
Someone's probably batted him one by now.
I expect he had the good sense to bolt his door.
It won't be so easy now that we're all on our guard.
I should advise you, Mr. Bloor, not to be too confident. I should like shortly to propose certain measures of safety, which I think we should all adopt.
Against who?
Against each other. Of the 10 people that originally came to this island, 3 are definitely clear. There are 7 of us left. 7 little Indian boys.
One of which is a bogus little Indian boy.
Exactly.
Well, in spite of what Miss Claythorne said just now, I'd say that you, Sir Lawrence, and Dr. Armstrong are above suspicion. He's a well-known doctor, and you're known all over England.
Mr. Bloor, that proves nothing at all. Judges have been known to go mad before now. So have doctors. So have policemen.
Here, here. Well, does he want some coffee?
He'd rather make himself a nice cup of tea. What about Dr. Armstrong? Do you think we ought to take him up a cup?
I'll take it up if you like.
I'll take it. I want to change.
Well, yes, you ought to. You'll catch cold.
I think, Captain Lombard, that Dr. Armstrong might prefer to see me. He might not admit you. He may be afraid of your revolver.
Ah, yes. That's revolver. I want to work with you about
Do
that.
go and change, please.
What are you going to say?
I'd like to know why you brought the revolver down here on what is supposed to be a little social business.
You do. I've led a rather adventurous life, and I've been in a bit of a jam once or twice. I've gotten into the habit of taking a revolver about with me. It's a pleasant feeling to have a gun handy. Don't you agree?
We don't carry it. Now, I want the truth about this gun.
My, what a suspicious fellow you are.
Now, I know a fishy story when I hear one.
If it's about that revolver, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Oh, well. I'd like to let you ask for me to come here as guest of Mr. and Mrs. Owen. It will be worth my while. The writer said that he heard I got a reputation for being a good man in a tidy place. There might be some danger, but I'd be all right if I kept my eyes open.
I'd never have fallen for that.
Well, I did. I was bored. Oh, how I was bored back in that table. It was an intriguing proposition, you must admit.
Too vague for my life.
Well, that was the whole charm. It's aroused my curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yes, Squire.
Do go and change, please.
I'm going, my sweet. I'm going. The maternal instinct, I think.
Don't be ridiculous.
That's a tall story. If it's true, why didn't you tell it to us last night?
He might have thought that was the exact situation for which he had been prepared.
Perhaps it is.
I hardly think so. It was just Mr. Owen's little bit of cheese to get him into the trap with the rest of us. Must have known him pretty well to rely on his curiosity.
If it's true, he's a wrong in that man. I wouldn't trust him a yard.
Are you such a good judge of truth?
We must get out of here. We must, before it's too late.
So the one thing we must not do is give away to nerves.
I'm sorry. Just another case of physician, heal thyself, but I've been overworked lately and run down.
Sleeping badly?
Yes, I dream hospitals, operations, a nightmare my ghost.
Real nightmares.
Yes. Have you ever dreamed you're in court, sentencing a man's death?
Are you by any chance referring to a man called Edward Seaton? I should assure you, I wouldn't lose any sleep over the death of Edward Seaton. A particularly brutal and cold-blooded murderer. The jury liked him. They were going to let him off, I could see. However, I cooked Seaton's goose.
It's cold in here, isn't it?
Roger said he would hurry up.
Yes, where is Roger? He's been a long time.
He said he got to get some sticks.
Sticks? Sticks? My goodness, sticks!
Oh no!
Is another one gone? Are there only 6?
There are only 5.
5?
Rogers and Lombard.
Oh no,
Yes, he's dead, all right.
How?
With an axe. Somebody must have come up behind him while he was bent over the wood box.
One chopped himself in half, and then there were six.
Stop!
Yes.
Stop! Stop! She'll be all right. What's this? Do they keep bees on an island? Well, that's the next verse. 6 between you, playing with the hive. A bumblebee stung one. And then there were 5. Bumblebee stung. We all look pretty spry. Nothing wrong with any of us. Oh, no. You don't think. Miss Brady.
Oh.
A hypodermic syringe. The modern bee sting.
Washington City there? One of us.
One of us.
Which of us? I apologize. It's this terrible inactivity that gets on my nerves.
possible. If we remain together, all within sight of each other, nothing will happen. We have all submitted to a search. Therefore, we know that no man is armed either with firearms or a knife, nor has any man got cyanide or any drug on his person. If we remain, as I say, within sight of each other, nothing can happen.
We shall need food and sleep.
That's what I say.
Obviously, the murderer's only chance is to get one of us separated from the rest. If we can prevent that from happening, we are safe.
Say,
You're very silent, Vera.
There isn't anything to say. I wonder at the time. Was this awful waiting for the hours to go by, and yet feeling that they are the last. What is the time?
8:30.
Is that all?
Pretty awful like this. How are the candles holding up?
There's a whole package. Storm's dying down a bit. What do you think, sir?
Perhaps. We mustn't get too optimistic.
That murderer's got everything on his side. Even the weather seems to be falling in with his plans.
What about something to eat?
If you like, I'll go out and open some tongue and make some coffee. Oh, but you boys stay here. That's right, isn't it?
Not quite. You see, Miss Claythorne, it might be inadvisable for us to eat or drink anything that you had prepared out of our sight.
Oh, you don't like me, do you?
It is not a question of like or of dislike.
There are very few tricks that will get past you, Sir Lawrence. You know, if you won't be offended if I say so, you're my fancy.
This is hardly the moment, Captain Lombard, for any of us to indulge in the luxury of taking offense.
I don't think it's Lord. I may be wrong, but I don't feel that you've got enough imagination for this job. All I can say is that you are the criminal. I take my hat off for a very fine act.
Thank you. For nothing.
I don't think it's the doctor. I don't believe he's got the nerve. You've got plenty of nerve here. On the other hand, you strike me as eminently sane. And therefore, you'd only do murder if you had a thoroughly good motive.
Thank you.
I thought of something.
Splendid. Animal, vegetable, or mineral.
Shut up, Lombard! That man says he's a police officer. We've no proof of that. He's only said so after the gramophone record when his name had been given. Before that, he was pretending to be a South African millionaire. Perhaps this police officer is another impersonation. What do we know about him? Nothing at all!
He's a policeman, all right. Look at his feet.
That's enough for you, Mr. Lombard.
Well, now we know where we are. And by the way, Miss Claythorne suspects you don't. Oh, yes, she does. And haven't you seen her shoot the dirty look from time to time? It's all works out quite quickly. I suspect Sir Lawrence. Bloor suspects me. And Armstrong suspects Bloor. And what about you, sir?
Quite early in the day, I had formed a certain conclusion. It seemed to me that everything that had occurred so far pointed quite unmistakably to a certain person. I am still of the same opinion.
Which one?
Well, no. I think it would be inadvisable to mention that person's name at the present time.
Inadvisable in the public interest?
Exactly. What about the food idea?
No. Let's stay here. We're safe here.
I'm not hungry, really. You can go and have something by yourself, Louis.
Tell you what. Suppose I go and bring in a tin of biscuits?
Good idea. Oh, Lord. And I know this. It's only the wind making your travel.
I wonder what happened to the bathroom curtain. The one that Rogers missed.
By the wildest stretch of imagination, I cannot see what any homicidal maniac would want with the scarlet oil silk curtain.
Things seem to have been disappearing. Miss Brent lost her skein of knitting wool.
So the murderer, whoever he or she is a kleptomaniac too.
How does it go? 5 little Indian boys
Going in for law. One wound up in Chancery.
In Chancery? Well, but how could that have happened? Unless, of course...
Precisely, my dear young lady. That is why I am sitting right here.
Ah, I'm casting you as the role of murder. Not that
The turn can die to a boxer.
maybe we'll start a free fight. That seems to let you out, my dear.
Oh, that's awful right. It keeps going round and round in my head. Well, I think I'll remember it till I die. Mr. Floor's been gone a long time.
I expect a big bad whooping time.
I have asked you once before to try and restrain your peculiar sense of humor, Captain Armstrong.
I'm sorry, sir. It must be a form of nervousness. I've got the business.
Put your hands up. Armstrong, search him. We'll see if he's going now.
Nothing.
Satisfied?
No thank you.
Come now. You've had your dinner.
Well, I couldn't eat anything.
I warn you, Flora will wolf the lot.
I'm cold. I'm going to go upstairs for my sweater.
Not bad, these biscuits. What are they? Cheese. Cheesy so. That girl ought to have had some.
No, her nerves are in a very bad state.
I don't know that I would agree with you there, Doctor. You see, Miss Claiborne strikes me as a very cool and resourceful young lady. Quite remarkable, sir.
So that's your idea? She's the snake in the woodpile?
Hardly likely. A woman?
You and I, Doctor, we see women from slightly different angles.
What does anyone say to something to drink?
Good idea, provided we can tackle an unopened problem.
Who's that?
Philip! Philip, where are you? I've lost you.
Here I am.
Why can't we have some light? It's awful in this dark. You don't know where you are.
In Burns, Dr. Armstrong has gone completely off his own and committed suicide.
All very circumstantial. Even to one little China Indian broken over there in the doorway.
Well, I think that was rather overdoing it. A man would not think of doing that. Not if he was going to drown himself.
Quite so. But we are fairly sure he didn't drown himself. But he had to make appears, though he was 7 victims, all according to plan.
Supposing he really is dead.
I'm a bit suspicious of death without bodies.
How extraordinary to think that there are 5 dead bodies in there, and here we've been eating 10 tones.
The delightful feminine disregard of the past. There are 6 bodies, and they're not all in there.
Oh, no. No, she's right. There are only 5.
What about Mrs. Rogers?
I've counted her. She makes the 5th.
Now look here. Marston 1, Mrs. Rogers 2, and General McKenzie 3, Rogers 4, Emily Green 5, and Wargrave 6.
7, 8, 9. Armstrong 10. That's right, old boy. Sorry.
And don't you think it would be a good idea if we brought Mrs. Rogers down here and shoved her in the morgue too?
I'm a detective, not an undertaker.
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop talking about bodies. The point is, Armstrong murdered them.
We ought to have realized it was Armstrong, straight one.
How do you think Armstrong got hold of your revolver?
Having the slightest idea.
Tell me exactly what happened in the night.
Well, after you threw a fit of hysterics and locked yourself in your room, we all thought we'd better go to bed.
So we all went to bed and locked ourselves in our room.
About an hour later, I heard someone pass my room. I went out and tapped on the floor's door. He was there all right. Then I went to Armstrong's room. It was empty. That's when I tapped on your door and told you to sit tight, whatever happened. Then I came down here. The door on the balcony was open, and my revolver was lying just beside me.
But why the devil should Armstrong chuck the revolver away?
Don't ask me. Neither an accident or he's crazy.
Where do you think he is?
Lurking. Somewhere. Waiting to have a chance at one.
We ought to search the house.
What? And walk into an ambush?
Oh, well, I never thought of that.
Are you quite sure you heard no one moving about after we went out?
Oh, I imagine all sorts of things, but nothing short of setting the house on fire would have got me to unlock my door.
I see. Just thoroughly suspicious.
What's the use of talking? What are we going to do?
If you ask me, do nothing. Sit tight and take no risk.
Now look here, I want to go after that fellow.
What a dog in the bulldog breed you are, Floyd. By the way, between friends and without prejudice, you did go into that little spot of perjury, didn't you?
Well, I don't suppose it makes any odds now. Lander was innocent, all right. The gang squared me and we put him away for a stretch. Mind you, I would admit it now.
You think that we're all in the same boat?
Well, I couldn't admit it in front of Mr. Justice Wargrave, could I?
No, hardly.
I say, that fellow's seeking. Do you think he was innocent?
I'm quite sure. Whoever had to have had a reason for wanting him out of the way. Well, Lord, I'm delighted to come off your virtuous purge. And I hope you made it tight and get to
Nothing like what I ought to have done. They're a mean lot, that Benny gang. I got my promotion, though.
And then you got penal service. He died there.
I couldn't tell he was going to die, could I?
No, that was your bad luck.
His, you mean?
Yours too. Because as a result of that fact, you may get your life cut short unpleasantly soon.
What? Me? By Armstrong? I'll watch you.
You'll have to. Remember, there are only 3 little Indians there.
What about you?
I shall be quite all right then. And I've been in tight places before, and I've gotten out. And I mean to get out of this one. Besides, I've got the revolver.
Yes, that's revolver. Now listen, you said you found it lying down there. What's to prove you haven't had it all the time?
Same old gramophone record. No room in your head for more than one eye at a time, is there?
No, but it's a good idea.
And you're sticking
I
to
would have thought of a better story than that to fire you.
I only wanted something simple that a policeman can understand.
What's wrong with the police?
Nothing now that you've left the force.
Now look here, Captain Lombard, if you're an honest man, as you
Oh,
pretend.
come off, Lord. We're neither one of us
If
honest.
you're telling the truth for once, you ought to do the square thing and chuck that revolver down there.
Don't be a fool.
I've said I'll go to the house looking for Armstrong, haven't I? If I'm willing to do that, will you lend me that revolver?
No, I won't. It's my revolver. That revolver's mine, and I'm sticking to it.
You know what I'm beginning to think?
You're not beginning to think it, you square-headed flathead. You thought it last night, and now you've gone back to your original idea. I'm the one and only, Mr. You in unknown motives. That is,
I won't contradict you.
you're quite wrong, you know, but you can think what you will.
Listen here,
but if I were you, you can
Well,
find
I think you're both behaving like a pair of children.
Sorry, teacher.
Of course, Captain Lombard isn't the unknown. The unknown Owen is Armstrong, and I'll tell you one very good proof of it.
walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were two. He'll have a job with that one. There's no zoo on this island. I say, Captain Lombard, what about a nice bottle of soda?
Do stop thinking about your stomach, Lord. This trading for food and drink will be your
But
undoing.
there's plenty in the kitchen.
Yes, and if anyone wanted to get rid of it, the first place they...
What's that? A boat. It's a boat.
Lord got his. A booby trap. All set. A wire across the door attached to something above.
Is he?
Yes. Crust. Head stove in. That's great bronze bear holding the clock on the lamp.
A bear? Oh, how ghastly. Oh, it's this awful challenge.
I know. Oh, what a fool Lord was.
And now, there are two.
Yes, we'll have to be very careful.
We shan't do it. He'll get us. We'll never get away from this
Oh, yes,
island.
you will. I've never been beaten yet.
Please, Philip. We've got to get away anywhere. Just please stop this island.
Okay. We'll go to the top of the island. Wait for me to come. It's sheer cliff on the far side. You can see if anyone approaches from the height.
Anything's better than staying here.
Won't you be rather cold in that dress?
I'd be colder if I was dead.
Perhaps you're right. Hey, quick reconnaissance.
Be careful, Philip. Please.
I'm not low. There's no window directly above. There's something washed up on the rocks.
What? It looks like a body.
You best wait from there. I'm going to have a look.
Armstrong's body.
It's Armstrong. Drowned. Washed up at high water mark.
So there's no one at all. No one on the island at all, except us two.
Yes, dear. Now we know where we are.
Now we know where we
A
are.
very pretty trick of yours with that wire. Quite neat. Old Wargrave always knew you were dangerous.
You-
So you did drown that kid after all.
I didn't. Well, that's where you're wrong. Please believe me. Please listen to
I
me.
miss you. You'd better make it a good
It
story.
isn't a story. It's the truth. I didn't kill that child. It was someone else.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. I was in love with him.
This is getting quite interesting.
Oh, don't sneer. It was terrible. Peter would have done everything if he would have done everything if Peter hadn't been born.
Well-known tale of the wicked uncle.
Yes, he was wicked. And I didn't know. He said he loved me, but he was too poor to marry. Well, there was a rock far out that Peter always wanted to swim to. Of course, I didn't let him. It was dangerous. One day, I went back to the house for something I'd forgotten. When I came back to the rock, I looked down and saw Peter swimming out to the rock. Well, I flew down to the beach and he tried to stop me. Don't be a fool, he said. I told the little boy he could do it. Well, I pushed past him and he tried to stop me, but I got away. I knew he had the chance. The current had got him already. Well, I flew towards the beach and I swam after Peter, but I couldn't get there in time.
And everything went off well in the inquest. They called you a plucky girl. You kept discreetly quiet about
Do
Q's
you
part.
think anyone would have believed me? Besides, I couldn't. I really was in love
Well,
with
it's
him.
a pretty story. And then, I suppose, Q let you down.
Do you think I ever wanted to see him again?
You certainly are an accomplished liar.
Kids believe the truth when you hear it.
Well, who set that booby trap and killed Bull? It was not me, and Armstrong was there. I broke most of the commandments of my time, and I'm no saint. But there's one thing I won't stand for, and that's murder.
You won't stand for murder. What about those natives you left to die in Africa?
That's what's so funny. I did it.
What do you mean?
For once. Just once, Mark. I played the hero. Risked my life to save the lives of my men. Left them my rifle and all the ammunition there was, and food, and took a chance to the rush. By the most incredible luck, it came off, but it wasn't in time to save it. And then rumor got around that I deliberately abandoned my men. There's life for you.
Do you expect me to believe that? Well, you actually admitted the whole thing.
I know. I just got a kick out of watching their faces.
Oh, you can't fool me with a stupid lie like that.
Blast you! it's all untrue. My 10 Indian fad. My rhyme. My rhyme. Silence in the court! If there is any more noise, I shall order the court clear. You thought I was a ghost. You thought I was dead. Armstrong said I was dead. That was the clever part of my plan. Said we'd fix up my supposed death so that I would be free to spy upon the guilty one. He thought it an excellent plan. He came out that night to meet me by the cliff without any suspicion, and I sent him over with a push. So easy. He swallowed my red herring, all right. You know Vera Claythorne. All my life I've wanted to take life. Yes, to take it. I've had to get what enjoyment I could from sentencing the guilty to death. But it wasn't enough. I wanted to do it with my own hands. And I want a sense of justice. As between our sovereign lord the king and the prisoner at the bar will true deliverance make. Guilty, my lord, yes, guilty. You were all guilty, you know, that night, but I couldn't do anything. I had to take the law into my own hands. Into my own hands. Silence in the court! And then ask him first. Then Mrs. Rogers, bartone in the brandy. Mackenzie? Got Rogers with an axe when he was chopping sticks. Doped Emily Brent's coffee so she couldn't feel the hypodermic. Booby trapped her, Lord. Blore was a fool. I always knew it would be easy to get Blore. Returning the revolver was a clever touch. Maybe and interest. I always knew you two would suspect each other in the end, but the question was, who would win out? I bet on you, my dear, the female of the species. Besides, it's always more exciting to have a girl in the end. Prisoner at the bar! Have you anything to say why sentence should not be passed upon you? Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, I sentence you to death.
Stop! I'm not guilty! I'm not
Oh, they all
guilty!
say that. Must plead not guilty. Unless, of course, you plan to go all out for a verdict of insanity. But you're not mad. I'm mad, but you're not.
But I am! I swear it! I never killed that child, and I never wanted to kill him. You're trying to... You know when a person is guilty, and when they're telling the truth. But I swear I'm telling the truth!
So you didn't kill that little boy after all. Very interesting. But it doesn't matter much now, does it? I can't ruin my rhyme. My 10 little Indian boys. You're the last one.
fantastic.